Ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and droids across the galaxy, we are diving straight into the topic of today's video, keeping our formalities short. As always, it is amazing to always see you stop by the channel. Thank you so much, but today's video is too important. Probably the most important video, most important resource for Grand Arena Championships is going to be in today's video that I want to make sure you guys know about because I accidentally stumbled upon it because it's brand new. We're going to be talking about mathematically data-driven, proven best offensive teams in Grand Arena, best defensive teams in Grand Arena, and a complete counters guide, mathematically proven for all the Grand Arena teams you are going to be seeing out there. This is a game changer of a video that we need to talk about today. Let me explain how I stumbled upon it because it was completely accidental, and I want to make sure you guys have this resource in your back pocket. Every week when a new Grand Arena comes out, I do a couple of things. Firstly, I like to do research on how did my defenses do the previous Grand Arena. One, as a player, it makes you better. You kind of work on your defense. But furthermore, I review new characters, and I like to know how good are they doing on defense. And thirdly, I suppose, with all this is I like to do some research on my opponent. This part should not be new. Everything I just said right here should not be new. If it's new for you, we're going to give you a little brief overview on how to go about it. But that ally code right there, you can use it in this resource called swgh.gg to do research on your own Grand Arena history and your opponent's Grand Arena history, because to defeat an opponent, you got to understand them. You got to kind of see their history, so that way you can get prepared for the battle that is to come. But hopping over here to swgh.gg, this part shouldn't be new. I'm going to leave a link down below. I always throw out these terms, top 5 resources in Galaxy of Heroes. This website arguably is the #1 resource in Galaxy of Heroes. I can argue for another one out there. We're not going to get too far into that discussion, but as you see right here, it shows my Grand Arena logs, my defense, my offense. And for example, right now I'm kind of seeing why is my Mon Mothma team working so well? And as we see, my Mon Mothma's holding up against Jedi Revan. That was really surprising. Jedi training Rey got stuck behind my Mon Mothma, and then a lot of great data that I'm pulling out from my defense. Look, Palpatine and Jedi training Rey in this Grand Arena lost against my Mon Mothma. Valuable information. And if you want to learn about your opponent's Grand Arena history, for example, as I showed you, you take the ally code of your opponent you're about to face, and all you got to do is take that ally code and replace it with the digits right here. That's where you insert the ally code, and instead, let's, for example, run this real quick. So 357318739, boom. And that's going to show my upcoming opponent, and I can see what are they placing on defense. GOs, HK47, BB-8 Grievous. That's kind of an interesting little mix going back to the droid meta days. I can see what they like to use for offense. You get the drill. I'm not going to go too deep into that because that isn't new news, but that's a little extreme highlight of the main thing that I use swgh.gg for. But here's where the new thing comes in that blew my mind. While I'm reviewing my Grand Arena history and now my opponent's Grand Arena history, I see this up here. swgh.gg GAC meta report is live. I'm like, what is that? So I click check it out, and my mind was absolutely blown. As we see, this website keeps track of all the battle log data in Galaxy of Heroes for a couple months now. This has been going on since about December of 2019. So they have extreme amounts of data on teams that are working on defense, teams that are working on offense, and soon they're gonna have a GAC squad counters. But I have a temporary resource that you can use in the meantime here. Let me just read this. So before we get your mind blown at the data, here's how it works. The data is curated through top guilds and GAC leaderboards inside of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And they go on and on and on. It's important to remember the context of the battle, yada, yada, yada. But here's where the metrics are extremely important. Currently, we are only showing character battles on their first attempt. So they're not looking at second and third cleanup crews, basically. We decided to do this to keep the data somewhat clean. Once you get to the second and third attempts, the strategy and results may vary wildly. But here we go. They're looking at a couple things. They're firstly saying how popular are these teams in here? What's their win percentage on offense? What's their hold percentage on defense? How many banners are being gained? And how many banners are being prevented? And combined victory banners. So all this is just the basic of how they went about creating this tool that we're learning here. And then here's where the magic happens, ladies and gentlemen. Top performing squads. And it's like, whoa. This is like brand new because season 10 is what we're in right now. They have some season 9 3v3 data here, but this I've not heard anything about that. I've not seen anyone talk about it. This might just be brand new that just came out not too long ago, because that's the first time I saw that little button at the very top here. And here you're seeing what are the best teams being used in this current season of Grand Arena. Now you're going to notice that some of the teams you're going to be seeing are kind of falling in line to the challenges or the feats. Like, for example, Qui-Gon Jinn, obviously not the best Padme team, but a lot of people are using that to knock out the Grand Arena Championship feat that was going on for the Jedi Council feat, I believe here. But look at all this beautiful data right here. For example, right now we're looking at what has the highest percentage of victories on their first attempt. And as we see, this Padme team was winning almost 95% of their battles. Gas was winning about 93.4. Darth Revan winning about 93.3. And over here, you're seeing how many banners are they getting on average. On average, Padme is getting about 56 banners, 54, 55, and the list goes on and on. This is crazy because when I make videos talking about what are the best teams in Grand Arena and in general, but it's mostly from just personal experience, what I've seen, what I've done, what I've seen others done. But this kind of mathematically backs up what I'm saying. So if you don't believe me, now you can believe the data. And I just want to kind of run through a couple of things here to kind of enlighten you on what is working well in Galaxy of Heroes. So when it comes to attack and defense, what do you want to keep in mind? When you're on offense, what's the rule, ladies and gentlemen? You want to get as many banners as possible. So you want teams that have high banner potential. What's the rule on defense? On defense, you want to stop as many banners as possible from your opponent. You know, it's kind of like buy low, sell high type of thing right here. So we're going to kind of run through some data right here. Right now, we're seeing the win percentage rate of these teams right here. And keep in mind, the data is composed of the current season. So not of all time, but I'm assuming that's where the squad counter tool that we just saw over here is going to come in. But let's do this. Let's see your predictions, ladies and gentlemen. Put it down in the chat. What do you think has the highest average banner count when it comes on offense? And let me tell you, it puts a smile on my face when I see it. We're going to click on the little flag right here. Average banner is 1. Higher means better for attack. We're going to go ahead and click that right there. Imperial Troopers. Ladies and gentlemen, we've started a whole movement this year. I've been seeing so many people gear up their Imperial Troopers, be inspired by the glory of the Empire. There's just a Reddit post the other day, for example. I had to leave a nice little comment for people building up their Imperial Troopers. But Imperial Troopers, for the teams they go up against, again, context is important, kind of like what they prefaced before we started looking into the data. Obviously, Imperial Troopers are not the best team in the game, but when they're being used, they're netting the highest amount of average banners on offense. Obviously, people are not using this team to go up against General Anakin Skywalker, Galactic Legends Rey, but when they are being used, for example, up against Night Sisters, up against Bounty Hunters, up against Sith Empire teams, they're getting some pretty dang high banners, and that's why I've been kind of pushing for how great they are as a secondary or third team to get you some big wins in Grand Arena. And boy, oh boy, they pulled out some serious wins in Grand Arena. Jedi Knight Revan is coming up at second with 58 banners on average. Jedi Training Rey 57. So this, basically, I've always had a feeling that this is kind of the organization of the best offensive teams in Grand Arena. That's why I've always talked about it. And now it's this nice thing that there's data backing up what I said, or just maybe even your own hunches out there. Commander Luke Skywalker, all these teams are very popular and being used on offense for a variety of things. So now let's look at defense. What do you guys think? Now, keep in mind, now we have to think of the inverse. What teams do you think are preventing the most banners possible from your opponents right here? Let's now flip over to the defensive side of things. And this kind of reinforces what I believe. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is probably stealing the most banners when being placed on defense. On average, opponents are getting only about 51 banners when they're going up against the Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. And I can definitely back it up. Sometimes I get 57 banners up against Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, but definitely one of the harder defensive teams to face it there. General Anakin Skywalker getting also about 51 banners when they're fighting up against some pretty nasty battle. A lot of AoE damage. Sith Empire teams, 1000%. That's why I sometimes put Sith Empire on defense, because they really steal a lot of banners, lots of AoE, shocks, fears going on. So again, it kind of backs up what we're saying. And Rey, again, Rey is still no joke on defense. On average, she gives about 1 extra banner to the opponents. I think that number is going to increase even more once people adapt more of the Thrawn lead, for example, out there. But here we go. All this kind of backs up what you see. This is the meta. This is the meta. These are the most effective teams available right now in the game for offense and defense. This just blew my mind of all this data, because I'm a data guy. As an undergrad, I did a lot of statistics, econ, mathematics, and all that. So this kind of always intrigued me. But of course, I don't have access to the variety of data, but swgh.gg has access to this data from all the battle logs inside of Galaxy of Heroes. It is beautiful seeing all this. And of course, it looks like Ewoks This is why I don't see Ewoks really anymore on defense. Ewoks are giving away too many banners, so it's kind of really important to see how this works because, one, you want the teams that are taking away the most banners, but you also don't want to have the teams that are giving too many banners. That's why you don't really see Ewoks, you don't really see Old Republic, you don't really see a First Order without Hux and Sith Trooper because they're giving away way too many banners. And actually, let's quickly look at what's pretty bad on offense. Supreme Leader Kyle Ren, although he's great on defense, the one reason I don't use him on offense because he doesn't get a lot of banners unless you're going for a solo run. So it's great to see what works on offense really well, what doesn't really work on offense really well. Again, context is important. Most likely they're using this to counter Rey, and Rey can steal a lot of banners from Supreme Leader Kyle Ren. So it's important to understand context. This does not mean the best team in Galaxy of Heroes, but it means it's really good at getting banners for the appropriate situation. So now there's one more thing that I want to talk about here, and that's coming to the GAC squad counters. This right here, it kind of just reinforces the squad meta that we just talked about a moment ago. But the last thing that's coming out is the squad counter. So they have all this data. They see, for example, what's working well against what, for example, and what's countering what. As we see right here, you can see my GAC data. I'm still blown away how Jedi Knight Revan got stuck behind Mon Moth. That is absolutely bonkers right there. They're going to turn that data into a counter guide. So if you're trying to find out, all right, well, what counters Mon Mothma? Well, eventually, I presume that this is going to be live, this GAC squad counter. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that. Of course, I'll probably make a little note of it when it does go live. I might mention it in a live stream or a video, but there is a temporary thing that you can use in the meantime. And I got to give a big shout out to one of our Kyber Club VIP members on the channel, Promethean Death. A while ago on a live stream, someone asked me, is there a complete counters guide? And I was like, I don't know of any, but there is a temporary one. There's a Discord server that has compiled 3v3 and 5v5 counters out there. So I want to go ahead and give them a huge shout out. I believe Xerif, might be misspelling their name, but I guess they talked about it in the past. I'll leave a link down below to their channel, but here's a temporary thing you can use in the meantime. I love data. Ladies and gentlemen, my Imperial Tactical Scanners is just dripping with data all over. Links down below to this, swgh.gg, and the channel that I just mentioned. This is a good temporary solution if you're trying to find counters for things. There's over 500 data entries in this spreadsheet right here. So a lot of helpful information. Not everything is on here. Like, for example, you guys see me use Rey, and mostly a full Empire team beat Rey for 60 banners. They don't have everything on here like that example I just gave you, but for the most part, you're going to find plenty of counters for even things like Kira. Like, I don't really see Kira that much. Shakti, Treya, Veers, and whatnot. A lot of great resources out there. Hopefully this video is going to blow your mind a little bit, especially that Grand Arena tool that svgh.gg has. One of the most important resources, one, to learn about your opponents, learn about your defense, and it's also been helpful for people to kind of pick up on cheaters. Whether or not those cheaters are being dealt with, we don't know that much, but it's been such a powerful resource. And I want to make sure you guys know about it to improve your Grand Arena experience. Major shout out to svgh.gg. They're doing amazing things for this community, and this is just a little bit of what they do in general. So we're going to wrap up the video right there. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are down below. Like if you did enjoy the video, comment down below on all your beautiful thoughts, and be sure to subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And as always, man, my favorite part of the video, it's great to be in the Empire today. I'll see you guys later. Roll out that outro. Come on, there we go.